Welcome back to Learn SKN, and today we have an economics video for you. We're looking at the May-June 2018 CSEC economics paper 1. So we have the multiple choice from May-June 2018, and so we're going to just jump right into it. Alright, number 1. Which of the following rewards accrues to the factor of production called capital? And the answer for this one is interest. Alright, rent comes from land, profit comes from entrepreneurship, and wage comes from labor. So interest comes from capital. Number 2, which of the following pairs of activities in a country falls on the tertiary sector? So that's the services industry, services sector, and of course you have A, banking and tourism, because agriculture is primary, construction is secondary, and both these are a mixture of primary and secondary. Number 3, trade liberalization can be defined as, and the best answer here is the removal of trade barriers. Number 4, globalization may be most accurately defined as the international trade of goods and services, including skilled people. Now the reason why this one is chosen as opposed to the integration of financial services, technologies, and commodity market worldwide is because we are looking at people also. One of the great ideas of globalization is that people are able to move freely in certain areas, like the currency union, the EU, in the Caribbean. You're supposed to be able to move freely with CSEC and stuff like that. So all that incorporates people as well, not just things. Number 5. Item 5 refers to the following diagram, which shows the relationship between the production of good X and good Y by a certain country using all its resources. See our diagram here. What is the name given to the curve represented above? And so the answer here is D, the production possibility curve, or the PPF, the production possibility frontier. Number 6. Country X allows the foreign exchange market to determine the rate of its domestic currency based on the forces of supply and demand. This type of exchange rate is referred to as, and the best answer here is floating. Floating is where the market determines supply and demand for that one. Fixed is where it doesn't change. Pegged is where it is attached to a specific currency. For example, the EC dollar is attached to the US currency, and so based on what happened to the US currency would affect the EC dollar. And managed is where the government actually use monetary policy to try to maintain a certain level, a certain value for the currency. Number 7 refers to the following diagram, which illustrates the production possibility frontier for our economy that is capable of producing bauxite and sugar in different combinations. So we have a diagram here. Point X on the diagram represents, so this is X, and the only answer here is D, the unattainable combination. You cannot produce outside here, you don't have enough resources. P is the where not all the resources are employed, so that would be B, unemployed resources. That's P. And so if you had a next graph, then that would be showing economic growth. So the only and best answer here is D. X marks the spot for an unattainable combination. Number 8. In an attempt to increase the efficiency of its staff, management assigns specific tasks to each worker. This is an example of, and the answer here is specialization, where you break down jobs into tasks. Number 9. Choice is the most important issue in economics because, and the answer here is C, resources are scarce relative to consumers' wants. We want, but resources are scarce. Our wants are unlimited, where our resources are limited. Number 10. Which of the following is not an example of a factor of production in a commercial bank? And so the answer here is D, special savings accounts for students. Now the building is a part of capital, the bank's vault is a part of its capital, and see the shareholders of the bank would be part of capital. So you raise capital from shareholders also. So the best answer here is a special saving account for students. Number 11, which of the following is least likely to affect the efficiency of labor? And the answer here is A, a firm's profitability. If you're motivated, you work more. If technology level is high, you're more efficient using that technology. And if you're educated and trained, you are going to be more efficient. Number 12 refers to the following table, which shows government spending as a percentage of gross domestic product, or GDP, WXYZ. Government spending as a percentage. The economic system of country X is most likely, and the best answer is B, planned, meaning that government looks after most of the citizens, and so it uses its money to pay for most things for the country. That's why it's so high, because the government uses all of its money to help its country, the country. Number 13, the term money supply refers to the total stock of money in an economy at any moment. 14, Fred earns his money by occasionally doing jobs such as painting, repairing, and cleaning, while Wilma earns her money from occasional babysitting. In which sector would Fred and Wilma's activities be located? And the best answer here is C, the informal or the underground economy. Number 15, price elasticity of supply refers to the responsiveness of quantity supplied to a change in price. It's right there, price elasticity, we're talking about price. Number 16, if company X is engaged in cutting of trees to obtain lumber, which is then used by company Y to make furniture, to which sector of the economy does company X belong? And of course, X is engaged in a primary industry, which is, taking raw materials from the earth. So that's the cutting down of the trees. And so the answer here is B, the primary sector, the primary industry. Number 17 refers to the following diagram, which shows the price and quantity demanded of good X. Now, the movement of the demand curve of good X from D to D1 results from an increase in, and the best answer here is A, consumer income. Remember, a lot of stuff causes shifts in the demand curve, such as consumer income, also the change in taste, and those kind of stuff. They cause a total shift. And so, if you look at the price of the good only causes a movement. And so that is not the answer. The price is not the answer. So the best answer is consumer income. Maybe the consumer income went up, and so therefore they demanded more things. Number 18, according to economic theory, second-hand cigarette smoke is an example of and the answer here is D, negative externality. The negative externality. Which of the following is a component of country's balance of payment account? And so the answer here is B, the value of import and exports. The value of imports and exports. Number 20, which of the following financial instruments are issued by the central bank on behalf of the government? And the answer here is treasury bills. They are issued on behalf of the government by the central bank. 21, the main objective of credit union is to, and the answer here is B, encourage thrift among its members. So they're simply saying that a credit union is there to encourage its members to save. Don't spend all your money, save some. Number 22 refers to the following curves that show the demand for products. So you have 4 curves here. Question asks, which of the following curve indicates the demand for the product is perfectly elastic? And so the answer is straight across, horizontal. And so we have I, which is A. So A is I. So 4 would have been inelastic, perfectly inelastic. But the answer here is A1, straight across. 23. Resources, both human and physical, are required to produce goods. The statement above most accurately describes C, factors of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship. 24 refers to the following diagram, which shows the demand for and supply of grapes. And so you see the answer right here. What is the equilibrium price and quantity demanded? So where do they intersect? Where do supply and demand intersect? Right here. Come down, that's Q. O, so that's quantity, equilibrium quantity. Come across, PO, that's the equilibrium price. And so the best answer is P and QO. 25. A normal supply curve for farm produce will slope upwards from left to right if farmers, and the answer here is B, are willing to produce more as the prices increases. So they're saying that if the farmers behave like rational humans, then that would be the shape of the curve, B. Number 6, country A is experiencing a balance of payment deficit. Which of the following measures can a country A take to reduce the deficit in the short term? And so the best answer here is D, introduce measures to reduce level of imports. So you want to try to pull back imports, right? You don't want to import way more than you export. So you try to pull back imports to, level out some of this deficit. 27 refers to the following information which relates to the manufacturing company. Total fixed cost, 10,000. Total cost, 50,000. Output, 100 units. So the average variable cost is, and the answer here is 400. How did we arrive at that? Because within total cost, you have variable and fixed. We already know the fixed. So the fixed was 10,000. So therefore the variable would be the other 40,000. So that's the variable cost. and then if you are, then the output is of course 100 units, and so to find average you always divide by the outputs. So your average variable cost would be the average cost, which is 40,000, divided by the 100, so you get the 400, which is B. All right. Number 28 refers to the following table, which shows the rate of inflation and the average percentage increase in wages over a 4-year period. All right, so you have the real wage here. So we're talking about wages. Real wage would be when you factor in for all the other things like inflation and taxes and stuff like that. So which year was the increase in real wages the greatest? And so the best answer here for me is 2014. Why 2014? Because in 2014 the wage increased by 20%, but the rate of inflation was lower at 5%. So if you do the maths, then you will get a 15% change in the real wage. Whereas some of the others, for example this one, the real wage would have been, the real wage would have been the change within the 10%. So in reality, real wage would have been 10% will be 10% off, whatever, 10% increase. And so these ones where the inflation rate is way higher than the wage increase, that's not going to show the greatest real wage increase. So the best answer is 2014. 29, which of the following statements best define the term tariff? B, the tax that is levied on imports entering a country. All right. 30 refers to the following table, which shows the price of product, quantity demanded and quantity supplied. So here we have it. So the question asks, at which of the following prices are there shortages in the market? And so a shortage occurs where supply is less than demand, where demand outstrips supply. So we have at $2, you see demand is 29, but supply is only 8, so of course there will be a shortage. And at $4, demand is 16, but supply is only 12, so there will be a shortage. At 6, you have equilibrium. At 8, you have a surplus, because 12 demands are surplus. And at 10, you also have an X surplus, because demand is less than the supply. Alright, 31 refers to the following table, which shows production cost of 3 units of a product. Bada bing, bada boom. What is the total cost when 3 units are produced? And so the best answer here is D, 190. So the real way to find this is to basically work backwards, where you would work backwards, yes. So in order to get 60 as the marginal cost, there's only one total here that would actually follow. So you put the 190 here, and in order to find the marginal cost, it would be the output. You take away the different total costs. So to get the 5 here would have been that from that, give the 5, and so you put it 190 here, and it's a 190 minus 130 would leave you back with what? 30 will leave you back with 60, and so that's why 60 here would be the marginal cost. And so it leaves that, of course, the total cost would be 190, because you have the 100 here, and the 90 is the only one that matches, and so you get that. So it's 90, you get $90, which is a part of which is a variable cost, and that would be the variable cost, because the total cost is 100, and so the 90 would be the variable cost, and the variable plus the fixed gives you the total, and so you get your 190. Number 32, using the theory of comparative advantage, which of the goods above should country pre-produce? And so the best answer here is A, mobile phones only. Why we say mobile phones only? Because remember, comparative advantage is all about the opportunity cost. So how much of one thing you have to give up to get something else. So in this case for P, in order for them to produce the 5,000 microwave, they have to give up 2. They have to give up 2 phones. All right, they have to give up 2 phones in order to produce the 5,000 microwave. And so if you reverse it now, how much they have to give up to produce the phones? They only have to give up 0.5 microwave, a half a microwave, to produce the 10,000 phones. So you only have to give up 0.5 microwave to produce the 10,000 phones. So based on opportunity cost, the 0.50 is lower than the 2, so therefore the best answer would be mobile phones only. And if you look at the other maths for R, we realize that for R, they have to give up 0.67 microwaves to produce the phone, 0.67 phones to produce microwave, whereas they have to give up 1.5 microwave to produce the phone. So they have to give 1.5 microwaves as opposed to the 0.5 for P. So P clearly has a comparative advantage when it comes to producing the phones. So the answer is B. Number 33. A country faces the following production combination: X, production with unemployed resources; Y, unattainable production combination; Z, efficient production combination. Which of the following production possibility curve correctly illustrates the information above? So we're looking at one that shows X as inside, Y outside, and Z on the curve. And the best one for that one is D, where X is inside, unemployed resources, Z is efficient, and Y is unattainable. 34. The functions of the central bank do not include. The functions of the central bank do not include providing loans to the public. 35. A pure public good can be described as a zero-priced product, zero-priced good, zero-priced. 36. This diagram, what does it best represent? So you have the financial sector, the firm or the household, loanable funds for investment. So the financial sector lends these monies to the firms, and the firms also use the financial sector for depositing their savings. And so in a sense, this is C, the role the financial sector performs for customers. 37. Which of the following economic situations is not characteristic of Caribbean countries? And the answer here is major producers of manufactured goods. That's not the Caribbean. Maybe Jamaica, Trinidad, Guyana might do some manufacturing, but for the most part, most of the Caribbean countries rely on tourism. 38. A student has a daily allowance of $20, which he can purchase chicken and chips or burger, but not both. If he purchased chicken and chips, the opportunity cost of his decision will be the burger that he gave up. Opportunity cost is what he gave up, so A, the burger. 39. Government reduces tax on carrots. This causes the price of carrots to fall by 50%. Quantity demanded then rises by 50%. The price elasticity of demand for carrots is, in this case, unitary, which is C, 1, because you divide that by that, you get 1, so 1. 40. Which of the following measures would most likely reduce inflation? And the best answer here is D, a reduction in government expenditure. Because if you look at A, an increase in bank lending. If you increase bank lending, that means more people have more money in their hand, and so therefore they're going to buy more, and so the economy is going to be heated. If you look at B, an increase in import duties. If companies have to pay more for the goods they import, then that price would be passed on to the customers, and as such, prices will start rising. But D, a reduction in government expenditure. What this means is that government not spending as much, they're not, doing capital projects or anything like that. So therefore, you would slow down the flow of money in the economy because government expenditure has dropped. And so if you slow down the flow of money in the economy, then prices would slow down. There would not be any inflation. Inflation would slow because demand would slow. Alright, so that's the best answer for that one. D, a reduction in government expenditure. 41. The amount of net export in the economy is given as negative 10 million. This indicates that the value of exports is C, less than imports. Because remember, to find net exports, you have to do exports minus imports. And so if the export number is smaller than the import number, you're going to get a negative number, which you have here, so less. So that means that export is less than imports. 42. In economics, the excess of human wants over existing resources is known as scarcity. Alright, scarcity. Number 43. The relationship between price and quantity demanded of a normal good is described as its inverse. Alright, when the price go up, quantity demanded should fall, and when the price goes down, quantity demanded should go up, so the inverse. 44. A large firm can achieve a savings in unit costs as a result of advertising and packaging. These kinds of economies of scale can be classified as marketing economies of scale, marketing. 45. A country has a comparative advantage in the production of a commodity when it can produce that commodity at a lower opportunity cost than any other country. So it's about opportunity cost. 46. A firm produces 29 pairs of high quality leather shoes at a fixed cost of 20,000 and a variable cost of 9,000. So combined total cost would be what? 29,000. On producing the 30th pair, the new total cost rises to 30. And so to find the marginal cost would be the new total minus the old total, and so it would have been the difference between the 30 and the 29, and that would be 1,000. In the theory of open competition on a world scale facilitates, in theory, the open competition on a world scale facilitates, and it should be D, the development of competitive advantages based on price, but only in theory. 48. Which of the following will contribute to surplus in the balance of trade of a country? Surplus. And so the best answer here would be the value of export is greater than the value of import. So we're saying that you're making more money selling stuff than you are buying stuff. 49. Which of the following is not determinant of shift in the demand for laptop computers? And so we know income causes shift. We know changing taste, preference causes shift. And we know the rise in the price of our alternative of other goods would cause a shift. And so the best answer here is B, price of the laptop, because the price causes a movement, not a shift, it causes a movement. The currency of a country may appreciate in value if B, the demand for its exports rises. If everybody want to buy your stuff, then they're going to demand more of your currency in order to buy your stuff. 51. Country M's economy was booming, then suddenly it begins to experience low demand for goods and services. This led to the closure of companies and businesses, raising unemployment and falling standards of living. Which of the following terms best describe the situation experienced by country M? And the answer, of course, is the recession, a recession, a downturn in economic activity. 52. Mr. Aka takes a loan from his bank and invest in a sugarcane plantation where he employs 100 people or workers. In economic terms, the reward that Mr. Aka hopes to earn from this business is known as B, profit. Alright, so there you see him demonstrating entrepreneurial skills, so entrepreneurship as a factor of production. And so the reward for that would be a profit. 53. The economic system where major economic decisions are made by private individuals and businesses is known as free market. A, the free market. 54. Which of the following factors should entrepreneurs consider when deciding what goods to produce? And the best answer is B, 1 and 2. So that's the cost of resources and also the availability of resources. 55. The ability to turn an asset into cash without loss or delay is known as liquidity. Can turn into cash one time, liquidity, liquid assets. 56. The following products is not considered to be primary. And of course the answer is C, furniture. Furniture is secondary because it's taking a raw material and making something. 57 refers to the following table, which shows the current account section of country's balance of payments for 2016. So you have invisible imports 50 million, invisible exports 80 million, visible imports 70, and visible exports is 32. And so your answer here is negative 38 million. So the country's balance of merchandise trade is negative 38 million. So all you have to do here is the exports, visible exports 32, visible imports 70, and so 32 minus 70, and you get your negative 38 million. 58. Which of the following activities is not a function of the International Monetary Fund? And the answer here is settling trade disputes between countries as a WHO issue. 59. Which of the following occurrences is not a benefit of trade liberalization to consumers? A decline in prices of goods and services, greater access to variety of goods and services. So the answer here is C, an increase in the price of goods and services. D, a reduction in the cost of okay, so C, an increase in the price of goods and services. That's the only negative you see here in this whole line up here. 60 refers to the following table, which shows manufacturing output as a share of gross domestic product or GDP for 4 countries, A, B, C, and D. So you have 1990, 2000, 2012. You see what's going on here with manufacture as a percent, keep declining, keeps declining, keeps declining, keeps declining. So the table shows that all countries experience a decline in manufacturing output. Alright, you can't say a decline in gross domestic product because you don't know if another sector would have picked up the slack. You don't know that. You can't say a decline in the sale of manufactured products because it's all about, normally we're talking about the output, the overall output. Alright, and so C, an increase in employment in the manufacturing sector, you cannot really say that because as you can see, it's a decline in manufacturing. It's declining. Had it increased employment in the manufacturing sector, you might have seen a boost, but this one is declining, so therefore it has to be that a decline in manufacturing output. So the countries are moving away from manufacturing. Okay, they might be doing more tourism, construction, or something like that. All right, so that's the end of the May-June 2018 CSEC economics paper. All right, that's the end of that. So you know what to do now. You know what to do. You like, you subscribe, and you hit the notification bell so you know when I drop another paper 1 for economics here on Learn SKN. Alright, so that is it for now. Thanks for watching.